Hello. Holly and I hope we're streaming from both of our Facebook groups, which is really fun because it feels like, I don't know, when like two friend groups hang out and you're like, oh my gosh, you guys need to meet. That's what this is. And um, the reason we're going to doing this kind of last minute impromptu live is because Holly has been working hard on something really amazing. And in case you guys didn't know this, Holly has been my coach for a year now, just over a year. And she was showing me behind the scenes with her, showing me the behind the scenes of something she's really excited about, something I'm really excited about. And it is her social media planner. There's actually so many aspects to it, and we're going to talk all about that. And I was like, oh my gosh, Holly, we need to share about this. Oh my gosh, share. I feel like there's a circuit missing in my head, but we need to share this.
With more
And
people, something like that.
yes, and I was just getting so excited. I was like, can we just go live? Can we just talk more about this and how awesome social media is? Um, Holly, you didn't do social media a ton when you had your organizing business. Is that right?
I was inconsistent at best with posting
Okay.
on Facebook and Instagram. I was very consistent posting on my personal page, but I really didn't know how to post on other pages. And so I would get in a blitz and I would do something and then I would just kind of like fizzle
Mm.
out.
Yeah, I think we've probably all been there with social media in general and maybe other aspects of our life where it's like we get this energetic push and it's like, oh, but sometimes we just need like a little help with a long-term sustainable plan.
Yeah,
So if you didn't know this, Holly had an organizing business from 2015. Did I make up that number?
2008, 2008 until
2008, guys.
2023.
So Holly's an OG. So she knows there's like many ways to get clients. Um, but as you guys know, like the world is just like changing into a place where you have to have a social media. I don't want to say you have to have a social media presence,
We kind of do.
but it's like, yeah, you kind of do. It's really just like an amazing tool to leverage. I think about it's like the way my appearance. It's not something I have to do, but it's something I could leverage to my benefit as an owner, as somebody who is on a mission to help more people, grow my team, bring more money to my family. Like this is something that you can leverage to help you do that. And so we're going to talk all about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Why do you
yeah.
think it's so intimidating for organizers with social media in your experience?
Man, there's like 100 aspects to it. First of all, like everybody struggles with getting visible and like overthinking and being like nervous. What are other people thinking of me? Because who hasn't like kind of had a conversation with a friend where you're joking around and you're like, oh my gosh, I saw this person do it and it was so cringe. And you're like,
So
your
cringe.
brain is like wired to never be that person. And so we overthink, we overanalyze. A lot of us are perfectionists and or we have all the ideas. And it's just hard.
That would be
Holly,
me.
have you ever had any ideas?
All day, every day. Yeah, I was talking
What?
with Emily Seaman the other day, and that's the phase that some of us get stuck in. I've broken the social media planning process down to 4 phases. And especially if you have some sort of tinge or twinge of ADHD where you get easily distracted. I know you and I have talked about this a good bit. You get stuck on one part of the process and kind of feel incapable when really you are capable and smart. You're just stuck on one part of the process, and it might require learning something different about the other parts or bringing somebody in to help with those other parts, and not having this unrealistic expectation of yourself that you got to be like militantly all A student all the time on point, or else you're just going to let it go, which is kind of how I operated for so many years until I realized that's not getting me anywhere. So I personally get stuck in the ideation phase and the excitement, and I love to build stuff and I love to make stuff. And then sometimes it comes time to like put it out there, and I'm like, wait, what do I say? How do I phrase this? What do I say that's going to make them want this? I know it's what they need, but like, what are the magic words, you know? And there's really no magic words, but there is a skill to develop that you and I have been talking about. You've developed it more than I have, which is how to say it in such a way that other people resonate with. So you're not just the mad scientist behind the scenes excited about your stuff, but you've got the pharmaceutical rep aspect to you that's like,
Mhm.
this medicine will change your life, you know?
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
a very real struggle. And I guess one of the things I've seen, Caroline, over time is that social media is not in a box. There's like long form live stream content, which is what I
Oh,
like doing.
totally.
There's the
Yep.
short form blitz reels. And sometimes you're going to resonate more with one style than the other, right? I resonate more with weekly long stream live content. I do that every week in my Grow Your PO team group. I love it. I love connecting. I love being there for 45 minutes and it comes and it flows. Other people, that would freak them out. Whereas what freaks me
Mhm.
out is trying to get my message into 1 minute in a reel and start with a hook and close with a sexy call to action and be like, do the thing. I just get so awkward. But I can talk for 45 minutes with people and engage and not feel awkward.
Mhm.
So it's kind of finding
Mhm.
what works for you with social media, right? And then what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think really just approaching marketing in general, it's like we don't want to say that, yeah, doing reels or something is the only way to get clients. It is a way to get clients. Live streams, it's not the only way. Working with realtors is not all of these things. So I feel like if you're watching this and you're like, I'm wondering if social media is for me, meaning do would I have fun showing up there consistently getting clients if I had the right strategy and tools, which is what Holly offers. And yeah, am I just like going to be excited to do it? Is it going to feel good? Like, am I going to want to show up there? Am I going to be energized in it? Um, that's like some of the stuff we'll
Yeah.
hit on. And
I think you hit a really good point there about, well, I feel good doing this. And a lot of organizers are such behind the scenes people, they don't feel good being on social media, especially after they've been working all day. They're like, wait, I got to be the person who's marketing myself and doing this thing and trying to feed my family and run a business. It just feels like a lot. And so they just don't, they just get paralyzed and stop, right?
mm-hmm,
So finding something that feels good to you. And part of that, what I've seen with organizers, and tell me if you've heard this too, I've heard this like wild fantasy that they want to wave this magic wand and like plan in advance and like have
yeah.
it kind of queued up so they can sort of set it and forget it to some level. What do you think? Have you heard people talk about things like that?
Yeah. We want
Yeah.
to control it. We want to know that things are going to like happen. Like it's kind of like, oh, anything. Yeah. Like there's so many things we want in our life to be that way. We just put money into a bank account and know it's going to grow. Or, and like we want to work for 2 days on a social media plan and for 6 months it's going to work. We want to hire a lead organizer and just give her all the projects and know that it's going to just pew, take off. Um, which is like true to an extent, but we're always going to be an owner who like has to maintain things, learn things along the way.
And there is still that element of being an owner that is in the race and engaged and not checked out. Like, let me just set it and forget it and wave my magic wand. But you don't actually sign up to be a business owner to get checked out. You're like in the game or you're not, basically. And there is something really that I feel. I don't really believe in superstition, but I feel so much more connected whenever I send an email the day of or the morning of rather than queuing up this whole big thing. It's like I'm connected kind of energetically to what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
literally I sent an email to my list this morning and I told them what happened at the lab in Greenville. I got my blood drawn right here. You can see my little um, this is the only place they can ever find blood in my body is right there on this little vein on my
Mm,
lip. And my
mm,
doctor wants me to get a few things checked out and just maintenance checkup stuff. And so we had to wait till a certain day, being a woman, a certain day of the month. And so today was the day, go out there. And I'm talking on the phone to my business partner, kind of walking up and down the hallway. And this girl comes up to me. And I was typing this story to my email list this morning. And it was fresh, it was relevant. And this girl comes up to me and she's like smiling big and she goes, "Are you Holly Sutherland?" I'm like,
Oh
"Uh-huh."
my
And I didn't have
gosh.
any makeup on. My hair was like in a messy bun in the back. I had my purple shirt on. I had done my eyebrows, and so there was the eyebrow aspect done. But no rest of my makeup or anything like this. She goes, "Are you Holly Sutherland?" And she goes, "I've been watching your videos for 5 years in this Facebook group." And she goes, "And I tried this and I did this and it worked. And like, I've been wanting to tell you thank you all this time. I can't believe I ran into you." I was like, I
Wow.
was wondering if that was her. And so I went and like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wild. So she goes on and she goes, "And you know what I remember the most was this one time you were driving in your car with your trailer behind you and you were like going out managing a team and you were just giving advice and telling us about your day." And she goes, "I want to be that person. I want to be that person who's like driving a
Mm,
trailer and managing a team." And it was
mm,
such spot on interesting timing because I'd just been talking with my partner, Samuel, about this and how people want to live vicariously through you with social media. So there's so much more power than we know to just simply sharing the day to day stuff, which you can't plan
mm.
out 6 months in advance. You can't
Yeah.
plan out what your 6 months from now, day to day, is going to look like. And the fact that you got snot on your shirt from your kids and you're sitting there trying to have coherent thoughts to make a post. Like you can't forecast that. And if you did, it's not genuine and people feel whether you're genuine or not, right?
Mm-hmm,
There is some
mm-hmm.
element of planning that can happen, and I do a lot of planning, for my live streams and some of my content and long form content and posts and promos and things like that. But you can't just totally be checked out. It's the being checked in that people feel resonated with because they're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that happened this morning," and they feel vicariously like they're living through you. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I
Mm-hmm,
feel like I was in that lab with Holly when she told me that story. I
mm-hmm.
feel like I was in her car when she was driving and she got this little fuzzy, seat holder." It's so funny the organizers remember my seat fuzzy holder that has holes in it now. They're like, "We got to give that thing a name." And I'm like, "Yeah, she basically has her own identity because I've gone live so many times with this little fuzzy seat holder, to protect my neck,
Mm,
scratch or whatever." But there is something very like charming and captivating about the real life stuff, like day to day.
totally.
We overlook, just like Caroline going live in your car and saying, "I've vacuumed my car for the first time in 2 months. I feel a little embarrassed about it, but now I feel amazing because even as an organizer, like sometimes I don't do all this stuff, but now that I did, I feel amazing." And somebody's gonna be that, and there's somebody gonna see that and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't vacuumed my car in 2 months either," and they're gonna remember that.
Mm-hmm, totally.
It's the little stuff that connects.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that so much. It just the idea of like bringing your attention and energy to something and not just like setting it and forgetting it. It's not like the crock pot where you just literally can check in on it at dinner time. I also think that, and really, Holly, I'd love to hear your journey just as a business owner with
Mhm.
this, that you learn so much by doing that. The
Yes.
person you become, the skills you gain with marketing by doing it on a regular daily basis doesn't just translate to getting clients on Facebook and Instagram. It
So,
translates into client relationships, how you write your website, networking. I just like kind of want to hear like maybe like a glimpse back into Holly,
um,
years ago sharing in the Jeep and then kind of how that's not the Jeep, sorry. You'll be in the Jeep in a few weeks. Um, a
hopefully
few
by
weeks from now, and if in years from now, how it's like kind of changed you.
wow, that's a really loaded and good question that brings back so many
Yeah, it
memories.
might be a little too much.
It's so good. No, it's so good. It's so relevant. Um, I mean, really honestly, when organizers started asking me, so I'm a full-time coach for organizers. Caroline mentioned I'm her coach and have been for the last maybe year and some change. And it's been such a delight just getting to know you on a person to person level, friend to friend level, and seeing your growth. And that happened not as a result of Facebook ads or anything like that, but as a result of her seeing some kind of content, her ordering some sort of low ticket product, low ticket membership, and then she invested at a higher level. And now she's grown her own stuff, and it's been beautiful. And that's the natural progression people take. So I've learned that I have to respect the natural progression that people are going to take and don't try to force, "Hey, here's my thing, buy my thing, get my thing is awesome." People could care less about your thing. about your organizing services, about the labels, about the systems, about whether it's 4 hours or five. Like we get so, I myself get so in the weeds, and I am so excited about whatever thing I'm doing without realizing it's the day to day, over time, people building a relationship with you when they might not even have ever talked to you, but they feel like they know you because they've heard your voice. You're in their earbuds when they're taking a walk. You're on their video. Some people have texted me a photo of me on their, big screen TV while they're watching my courses. Like, my kids are saying hi to Miss Holly. I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole life feels great when you tell me your kids know me by name. It's just precious. So I've had to learn that there is this very natural progression. One of my coaches even calls it strategic seduction, where there's 7 steps of strategic seduction, where you're capturing attention, you're converting their mindset, you're offering them some value, and only towards the end does it come time to collect the cash. But I feel like where we go so wrong with social media is we think that post has to equal cash. I'm going to post this and then cash is going to be in my account, without realizing there's a progression. And that might take 3 months. It might take 6 months. There's this whole gestational period where people need to feel connected to you, which happens through things like stories. It happens through things like emotions. It happens through things like showing up with no makeup on and your hair in a messy bun, which I'm like, that's probably why she recognized me, because that's how I go live a lot of the times, is messy bun and no makeup, right? And she recognized me when I had no makeup on and a messy bun this morning in the lab in Greenville. It's like crazy. And so the thing that I've learned over time is that Holly has got to be less about Holly, while at the same time being about Holly, if that even makes sense. Like, I've got to be less about me and my thing, about my thing, and more like, hey, here's what I'm doing in my life. This was fun. This made me smile. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And not really even trying to get an outcome. Because I don't believe you get clients from social media, but you get contacts, you get connections, you start conversations, but the actual client like interaction happens on the phone or on Zoom, where now you're off social media. You're not having a sales conversation in the DMs of Instagram a lot of times after they comment. You're not like, okay, here's the link to buy. A lot of times for a high ticket product, there's usually a phone call that happens first. So in order to go from social media to phone call, that's the part that takes nurture and time. And that's what I've learned to love. I've learned to love the nurture. I've nurtured people for years before they ever pay me $1. I have no problem with it. There's nobody I'm like, oh my gosh, they just need to hurry up and buy already. I don't care. And I think people know that. I think people know that I don't care whether they buy from me or not. So it helps me to remain unattached. And yet I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from organic connections on Facebook in my organizing business and my coaching business, because it's simply me sharing, oh my gosh, we did this basement. You won't believe that I was like hunched over. I am never doing a basement like that again. And then somebody comments on my post and she's like, can you come to New Hampshire and do my basement? I'm like, oh, because I love you and I know you, sure. And she pays me thousands of dollars to travel and come do it. But it's just from the day-to-day sharing, like you were talking about, that people are going to click and get you, and then they feel like you get them, because you're not trying to put up this perfect, like, I'm so organized, I'm so perfect, I'm so Instagram worthy and Pinterest perfect. Like, nobody gives a rip. Nobody really gives a rip. They just care about what they care about. What are their dreams? What are their desires? And what do they want to avoid? Like, what are their fears? And if you can talk to those things, it goes so much further than talking about your package or your product. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that I also just want to add that, like, being so put together and perfecting things, having perfect graphics on your any kind of post, the right words, the perfect things, it is actually unsustainable for you to be able to even get on social media to see what resonates with people. It's like, Holly, when you were sharing those videos with other organizers, just going live, and there was something that the seatbelt thing that connected and was funny. It's like, that's a data point. of just like something, oh, people like it, seeing me drive in my car. They like being, they're inspired by seeing what I'm doing and how what's possible, really.
People are
Like,
nosy. They love seeing behind the scenes.
oh yes,
I'm
and
totally nosy
just seeing
myself.
what's
I zoom in on
possible.
stuff and I'm like looking at this. I'm like,
No, I know, and I think that at the end of the day, it's like wherever you are with your how much time and energy you have, like you just got to get out there. And so, what is possible? Like, if you can't be, if you're a luxury brand and you can't be put together all the time, well, what can you do?
yeah.
I'm just like, um,
Mhm.
yeah, like we got to get your business out there in some way, and social media is a free and
Mhm.
low ticket or low entry point if you make it that way.
Yeah, we literally all have one of these in our pocket that we can just open up, and showing your face goes the longest way. And it's free in that sense. You don't have to get dressed and go across the
Mhm,
town to a networking meeting and feel awkward as an introvert about what to say.
mhm,
Just share
mhm,
a snippet from your day, you know?
mhm,
But learning how
mhm.
to do that can be tricky if we're overthinking and overanalyzing, like, what are people going to think about me? Which is what a lot of
Totally.
organizers struggle with. I struggled with that for a long time. Now I don't
Yes, and
care
we
what thinks about me. I'm just like, how do I get my stuff into 1 minute for a reel? That's my current reality right now. Like, how do I cut this to 1 minute? It's the know-how. It's not the emotional care anymore about what they think about me. It's just the mechanics of how do I do this?
mm-hmm. Well, we only have like a few minutes left, and I really want to tell a quick story and then want to, with something Holly and I have been talking about, and then talk about a way you guys can get a few different levels of help with getting your message out there. Um, so the other day, Holly was really excited to show me what we're talking about, what she's created, all the nuts and bolts of it. Holly and I are like, I don't know. Holly especially is a freak in the sheets. Do you ever call it that? Google Sheets? Freak in the sheets. Google Sheets. Beep, 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 beep. Magical formula. Everything's popping up. So Holly is just showing me like the inside, the back end of what she's created to help organizers get social media posts out there. And she's so excited about it. And I can like feel her enthusiasm. I'm excited for her. I'm nerding out too. But I'm also like, I want Holly to make sales. Like, we're women in business, and like Holly's got dreams, and I want to see her drive down the road in her Jeep. I'm just like, okay, but wait, how are we gonna? We gotta. This isn't what people need or what they want to hear about. It's what they need. But like, this is not everyone can be at our level and nerd out and everything. And
Not everyone
I just
nerds
was like,
as you, Holly. I can
yeah,
tell you this.
it's okay though. And I was fired up. I was like, Holly, organizers need this because of this reason, this reason, this reason. They need to be getting their message out there. They need to be practicing talking about these things. They need to learn these concepts so that when they're on site or in a consultation, they start listening for the right things that their clients are saying. Just the potential for how you are going to become a better marketer at networking events, writing your website, in phone calls or consultations, on site with a client when you're discussing things with them and like talking about their excitement of a project being finished. Like, these concepts are not just about what your Facebook and your Instagram looks like and the metrics of how many followers you have or even the revenue you generate from that. Who you are becoming and how you're sharing your message is what's going to change. So there's like a couple things here. One, you if you're watching this, you're probably like, okay, I need that. You're like, wait, I want to become that owner who like owns their message, knows it, and like puts it out there without the overwhelm. But what was happening with Holly and I is like what so many of us experience as a organizing expert. how many times have you gone into a client's house, whether it's a consultation or when you're like actually hired and working, and you're just like, okay, so we are going to create this system here because I was, just like, we're going to take everything out and sort it, and I'm going to ask you these specific questions for this reason, like, blah, 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 blah. But they're like, I just put my kid on the TV and I need to make them breakfast. And like, I just want you to like take care of everything. And at the end of the day, I just want to know it's going to work. And I'm going to like not hate my house.
Yes.
But we are so energized and I mean, thank God we are so energized and excited by this stuff that our clients don't like, right? Like, thank you, God, for creating us this way. But yes, so we're creators. You know that feeling of like, I can just nerd out over this organizing and decluttering stuff all day. Holly, she's experiencing that too. She's a creator. She's nerding out. She just can't stop thinking about and talking about how to systematize this so it's so easy. And so you literally can print out a calendar and just like look at it on a whim and know what to do. That's literally what she's done. Um, but at the end of the day, I think that a lot of organizers just need to hear that it's possible for them to get clients on social media, network on social media, become like 5 Mile famous or whatever.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. I'm not
people know
famous.
about your business, stop you in the preschool drive-through, whatever. And like, just learn how to market. Just learn how to become a marketer and somebody who can like talk about what they do in a way that isn't a snooze fest, like that is interesting to other people. Because what's sexy? What are you going to pay a couple $1,000s for? Functional systems or more time on the weekends?
Yes.
Give me the weekends
Yes. All day, every
while
day.
you do the
Give me the
functional
time
systems.
back. Yeah.
So we all like, as geniuses, we all struggle with this as visionaries, whatever you want to call yourself.
We're too close to
It
our
like
own
might
genius.
be, yeah, like you need to kind of get out of it. You might need a circle of people around you to help you see like what people really want to hear about from you so you can connect with them. So that they'll be listening so that you'll actually get their attention on social media or in conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Holly, we've got a couple minutes. Will you tell people the next steps they need to take to learn more about how they can get their hands on these tools?
Absolutely. So socialmediaorganizer.com is a brand new release for a free social media guide that walks you through the process of how you can do this yourself for free. I've laid it all out. This is 17 years of experience that I've broken down into a 4-part process, and then those processes have sub-steps that help you to see, okay, here's what I do first, second, and third. Well, that's probably not very exciting to you because it probably feels like work. So there is a way to tap into all my experience to help you not have to do that work to get clear on your message. I believe there are 4 profitable niches within organizing. And each of those niches that actually are going to pay you money and help you stay in business in the long run, they care about specific things. And those things are different. And if you're
Yeah.
talking to one niche here and one niche here and one niche here,
Yeah.
your message is going to get totally diluted. Nobody's going to pay attention to you.
Yep.
So I've created a tool where you can select your niche. It pre-populates with all of their main issues, fears, and desires and pains. And that's what you actually talk to on social media. So after you get this free guide, you'll see how to get that tool. And it's going to save you loads and loads of time. So you can have time back on the weekends, your kids.
Yeah, and like I'm so glad you brought up the niche because it's like this is really, if you're like confused on anything with marketing, like this tool will apply to you. If you feel like there's just something missing with your marketing, you're going to learn something. Even if you're not going to become like consistent all out on social media, you will learn something from these exercises. And then Holly's going to take you down the road with some resources that will like, and just offerings she has that will make it easy for you to be consistent on social media. But I'm just so glad you brought up the niche because it's like so many of us were like, wait, what would that look like? this is how you can find out exactly what having a niche would look like, and you'll start to see how powerful that is.
Exactly. Within 1 minute, you get a custom plan populated for you, where it's going to take a lot of questions and guesswork out. And then we're here to support you along the way. You can get some regular weekly and monthly support with that. And we'll talk to you more about what that
Love
could
that.
look like later. Carolyn, I know you got a pop.
I
Caroline, so thank you
do.
so much for your time. And I won't keep you. But anybody watching, I'm sending you hugs and kisses. And I hope you have the most amazing day.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can go to this website and sign up for this. But feel free to DM me if you have any questions about working with Holly and what that's looked like and how she's helped me grow my team and get consistent clients and packages and just all the things I have been able to rely on. But I hope we get to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. So much fun. I'll talk
Yeah.
to you soon, my friend.
Bye.